Have you ever felt mentally drained, but you can't really explain why? Like nothing huge happened, but somehow you still feel stressed, tired, or emotionally overwhelmed. The truth is, a lot of things that damage our mental health aren't obvious. They're small habits, daily routines, and patterns we repeat without even noticing. And the scary part is that these things slowly build up over time. One small habit today might not seem like a big deal, but months later, it can leave you feeling exhausted, anxious, or disconnected from yourself. In today's video, we're going to talk about some common things that secretly destroy your mental health. These are things many of us do every day without realizing the impact they have on our minds. If you've ever wondered why you sometimes feel mentally drained, stuck in your thoughts, or emotionally overwhelmed, this video might help you understand what's really going on. Welcome to Mental Health Simplified by Humph, where we talk about mental health in a simple, honest, and relatable way so we can all learn how to take better care of our minds. Before we get started, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy conversations about mental health, self-growth, and understanding your mind better. Alright, let's start with the first thing that secretly damages your mental health. First thing, constant comparison on social media. Let's start with something most of us do almost every day without thinking about it: comparing our lives to what we see on social media. You open your phone for a quick scroll, and suddenly you're seeing people traveling the world, buying new things, achieving big goals, looking confident, and living what appears to be an amazing life. At first, it might feel entertaining or inspiring, but after a while your mind starts making quiet comparisons. You might begin to wonder if you're doing enough, moving fast enough, or succeeding the way other people seem to be succeeding. The more you scroll, the easier it becomes to feel like everyone else is ahead of you. The tricky part is that social media rarely shows the full story. What you see online is usually a carefully selected highlight reel. People share the wins, the exciting moments, and the pictures where everything looks perfect. What you rarely see are the struggles, the failures, the doubts, and the quiet days where nothing seems to be going right. But when your brain constantly sees these polished moments, it can start to believe that everyone else's life is smooth and successful while yours feels messy and uncertain. Over time, that kind of comparison can slowly chip away at your confidence. The truth is that everyone is moving through life at their own pace, facing their own challenges behind the scenes. When you constantly compare your journey to someone else's highlights, it becomes almost impossible to feel satisfied with where you are. Protecting your mental health sometimes means stepping back from constant comparison and reminding yourself that real life is not a perfectly edited feed. Your progress, your struggles, and your pace are part of your unique journey, and that journey deserves patience and self-respect. Second thing, ignoring your emotions. Another thing that quietly damages mental health is ignoring how you feel. Many people grow up believing that emotions should be pushed aside so they can stay strong or keep moving forward. You might tell yourself things like, "I'll deal with this later," or "It's not a big deal." At first, this might seem like a way to stay productive and avoid unnecessary drama. But emotions don't simply disappear because we choose not to pay attention to them. They tend to stay in the background, waiting to be acknowledged. When feelings like stress, sadness, frustration, or disappointment are constantly ignored, they begin to pile up over time. It's a bit like stacking heavy boxes in a room and pretending they're not there. Eventually, the room becomes so crowded that it becomes difficult to move freely. In the same way, unprocessed emotions can begin to affect your mood, your energy levels, and the way you respond to everyday situations. You might find yourself becoming more irritable, more tired, or more emotionally overwhelmed without fully understanding why. Learning to acknowledge emotions doesn't mean letting them control your life. It simply means giving yourself the space to understand what you're feeling and why. Talking to someone you trust, writing down your thoughts, or taking quiet moments to reflect can help release emotional pressure before it builds up too much. When you allow yourself to process emotions instead of ignoring them, you give your mind a healthier way to recover and regain balance. Third things, overworking without rest. Let's talk about something that society often praises but can quietly harm mental health: constantly working without giving yourself proper rest. Many people feel pressure to always be productive, always chasing goals, always trying to achieve the next thing. Being busy has almost become a badge of honor. People talk proudly about working late nights, sacrificing sleep, and pushing themselves beyond their limits. but the human mind simply isn't designed to operate at full speed all the time. When your brain is constantly solving problems, making decisions, and handling responsibilities without breaks, it eventually becomes mentally exhausted. At first, the signs might be subtle. You may start feeling less motivated, struggling to concentrate, or finding it harder to enjoy activities that used to make you happy. Over time, mental exhaustion can make even simple tasks feel overwhelming because your brain hasn't had the chance to properly recharge. Rest is not laziness, and it's not something you need to feel guilty about. Rest is actually one of the most important parts of maintaining a healthy and balanced mind. When you allow yourself time to relax, step away from pressure, and recharge mentally, your brain becomes clearer, more creative, and more emotionally stable. Taking breaks and protecting your downtime is one of the most powerful ways to support long-term mental well-being. Fourth thing, negative self-talk. Another habit that secretly damages mental health is negative self-talk. This is the inner voice that constantly criticizes you, questions your abilities, or reminds you of every mistake you've ever made. Many people don't even notice how often they speak harshly to themselves because those thoughts have become automatic. When something goes wrong, the mind quickly jumps to thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, or I'll probably fail anyway. Over time, this inner dialogue can shape how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of achieving. The problem with negative self-talk is that the brain tends to accept repeated thoughts as truth. If you constantly tell yourself that you're incapable, your confidence slowly begins to fade. You may start avoiding opportunities, doubting your decisions, or feeling anxious about situations where you could actually succeed. What begins as a simple negative thought can gradually turn into a deep belief about your worth and abilities. This mental habit can quietly limit your potential without you even realizing it. Imagine speaking to a close friend the way some people speak to themselves. It would probably sound extremely harsh and unfair. Learning to challenge negative thoughts and replace them with more balanced perspectives can significantly improve mental health. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect, but it does mean giving yourself the same patience, encouragement, and understanding that you would offer to someone you care about. Fifth thing, toxic relationships. The people we surround ourselves with have a powerful influence on our mental well-being. Healthy relationships can provide encouragement, comfort, and support during difficult times. When you spend time with people who respect you and genuinely care about your well-being, it becomes easier to handle life's challenges. Positive relationships create a sense of belonging and emotional safety that helps the mind feel more stable and secure. However, toxic relationships can slowly drain that emotional energy. Constant criticism, manipulation, disrespect, or negativity can make you feel small, confused, or emotionally exhausted. Sometimes the damage is subtle and happens gradually. A person might repeatedly dismiss your feelings, make you question your decisions, or create an environment where you feel constantly judged. Over time, this can begin to affect your confidence and emotional balance. Protecting your mental health sometimes requires setting boundaries and recognizing when certain relationships are doing more harm than good. This doesn't always mean cutting people off immediately, but it does mean paying attention to how interactions affect your emotional state. Healthy relationships should help you grow and feel supported, not constantly leave you feeling drained or doubtful about yourself. Sixth thing, lack of sleep. Sleep might seem like a simple part of daily life, but it has a huge impact on mental health. When you don't get enough rest, your brain doesn't have the time it needs to recover from the day's mental and emotional activity. Sleep is when the mind processes experiences, organizes memories, and resets emotional balance. Without enough of it, the brain struggles to function at its best. When someone is consistently sleep deprived, their mood can become unstable, small problems may start to feel much bigger, patience becomes shorter, and concentration becomes harder. You might notice yourself becoming easily irritated or feeling emotionally overwhelmed by situations that normally wouldn't bother you. Over time, poor sleep can increase stress, anxiety, and mental fatigue. Improving sleep habits can make a surprisingly big difference for mental health. Simple routines like going to bed at consistent times, limiting screen use before sleep, and allowing the mind to relax before bedtime can help improve sleep quality. When your brain receives the rest it needs, it becomes easier to manage emotions, think clearly, and approach daily challenges with more stability. Seventh thing, living life on autopilot. The final thing that secretly damages mental health is living life on autopilot. Sometimes people become so caught up in routines and responsibilities that they stop checking in with themselves. Days start to feel repetitive. You wake up, go through the motions of your responsibilities, complete tasks, and repeat the same cycle again and again without really pausing to reflect on how you feel. When life becomes purely routine without moments of awareness or meaning, it can create a quiet sense of emptiness. You may feel like you're just going through the motions instead of truly experiencing life. Over time, this emotional disconnect can make it harder to feel excitement, motivation, or a sense of purpose in everyday activities. Taking time to slow down and reconnect with yourself can help break that cycle. Small moments of reflection, spending time doing things that bring genuine enjoyment, or simply stepping away from constant busyness can help you regain a sense of presence. When you become more aware of your experiences and emotions, life begins to feel more meaningful and mentally fulfilling. The truth is that mental health is not usually damaged by one big event. More often, it's the small habits and patterns that slowly affect the way we think, feel, and experience life. The good news is that once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin making small changes that protect your mental well-being. If this video helped you reflect on your own habits and mental health, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Mental Health Simplified by Humk for more honest conversations about mental health and personal growth. And if you think someone you know might benefit from hearing this message, consider sharing this video with them. Sometimes a simple conversation about mental health can make a bigger difference than we realize.